Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to Chocolate Covered Pages. I'm Kiona, and in today's video we are going to talk about the top series I read in 2023. So let's get into it. So this is a list of just the series that I completed and I fully enjoyed and of course would recommend to y'all. So the first up on the list is going to be In Every Mirror She's Black by Lola, Akinmade, Akerstrom. And that is book 1, In Every Mirror She's Black. And then book 2 is Everything Is Not Enough. Now, first of all, let me just tell y'all real quick. I did see when this book came out, I did get a few copies of this book. And I didn't really know what it was about. I really didn't. I was just distracted by a bunch of other books. Somehow it got kind of like pushed to the side or whatever. But you know, it happens. It happens, right? Now, when I saw that the author was coming out with this book, I thought that this book was just a whole nother book. So I hurried up and I requested it. And I don't even request that many books, but I requested this because the cover is so bright and vibrant. And I was going on vacation and I was like, ooh, I would like to do something with the colors in this book. And, you know, it should be nice while I'm on vacation, right? Well, let me tell you, I got like 5 to 10% in, and then I was like, I'm enjoying this book, but I feel like I came in the middle of the conversation. So I was just like, I wonder if, like, it just felt like certain things had already happened. I'm like, it can't be that many things that happen off the page, right? So then I went back to this one. I went to look at the synopsis and I saw some of the same character names. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so I slightly spoiled myself for a couple of things because I read the beginning of this. And this book literally just continues on from book 1. It does not give you a recap or anything. The author says that you could read this by yourself, but listen to me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Read this first and then pick up this one. Now let me tell you what this series is about. So this series is about 3 black women living in Sweden. These black women are all tied to this white man who's Swedish named Yanni. Right? In different ways. One of them is romantically involved with him. Another one works for him. Another one is tied to him because she works for him in a different capacity. First of all, the 3 of them, their lives are completely different. We follow Kimmy. She's a driven corporate girl. Okay? She is living in the US. And Yanni and his team have heard about her, how great she is at what she does. And they want her to come and work for their company in Sweden. And they're going to triple her salary. Who would say no to that? And at the end of the day, she kind of feels like, you know what, maybe I should go anyway because I don't really have that many ties here. I don't have any kids. You know, it's just like, you know, her sister and her sister's family. You know, she kind of like, you know, comes over there with them and hangs out and stuff like that. But, you know, she hasn't really had a lot of good luck in the romance department. So she is really, you know, seriously considering, especially when they're talking about tripling her salary and they want to make her like the diversity person there, you know, which is like, really? But anyway, yes, so she ends up working for Yanni. But while she's working for him, she has, as you can imagine, many hurdles, right? Many hurdles because she's got to learn Swedish, you know, and the people that work in that company are kind of like, who is this? You know, when they see her kind of walking up in there, she's trying to make changes that they're not used to, and she's getting a lot of resistance, you know. And then she's got a little kind of a little messiness, a little romantic messiness going on there. I won't spoil it, but Kimmy girl, woo! By the time I got to book 2, I was cursing Kimmy's ass out. I'm gonna tell you that. Kimmy made a lot of interesting decisions that she needed to be put in timeout for. Like, yeah. But anywho, we also meet Brittany, and Brittany meets Yanni because she is a flight attendant on a flight that's heading to, I think, London, and she ends up meeting Yanni on the flight, and he comes on to her. Like, first of all, Yanni has the type of money where he can make anything happen. Like, he has that type of money. Like, literally, he can make anything happen. So, you know, for someone that's like Brittany, you know, kind of paycheck to paycheck, you know, she kind of sees it as, this could really change my life. Like, he liked me and stuff, you know, I kind of like him like that as well. Even though she's kind of like already got a little situation going, but she sees Yanni as kind of like the better situation. But yes, that is how she ends up moving to Sweden. And Muna is a refugee, and her entire family is gone, and she ends up being able to go to Sweden as a refugee, and she ends up getting a little job, and that's how she comes into contact with Yanni. Her POV has a lot of flashbacks to that time before she moved into Sweden, and you know, people that she met, and how she's had some loss. You know, she's had a lot of loss, and she's also very lonely. But I think that is kind of what this whole series is supposed to be about. 3 black women living in Sweden, being moved to Sweden for different reasons, right? And how they are navigating this country, right? Because Brittany, even though she is now afforded all of the riches that Yanni and his family have, she's still not one of them. She's still seen as very different, and, you know, will help you to a certain extent, but never forget. You know what I mean? I think Yanni's character is very interesting as well. Yanni has some challenges. I will say that. He has some challenges. He's very particular in how he wants things and how he likes things. He can also be very scary, where he feels like he's not getting what he wants, because he's used to getting what he wants, right? Because of his money and his privilege. So he is completely oblivious to the fact that just because he is rich and he is all these things, that, you know, Brittany is not going to be seen on the same level as him. But it also comes a time where he has to remind her that, you here because of me. Like, you was nothing when I found you, you know. And that's a man for you. That's a man for you. But anyway, I digress. Right? So basically, I really enjoyed this series so much, especially book 2, because book 2 I feel like book 1 was kind of like easing us into it, you know, getting to know the ladies, getting to see, like, you know, they all kind of just getting their feet into Sweden. And book 2 just really just knocks us off our feet with the drama, the messiness. I'm telling you, I was just like on the train, like, oh my God, like looking around like, did y'all just see that? They did not see that, because I was reading a book, and that is a solo activity. So, but I just could not believe that, like, I was the only person experiencing that. Like, book 2 is it. Book 2 is definitely, she just turns up the volume on us for sure in book 2. And I really, really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ladies finding community in Sweden, however that may look like. And, you know, finding places to get their hair done as black women. You know, finding places that have ingredients that they could make things that they are used to having. So they definitely met a lot of challenges, right? I think this series also brings about a lot of conversation about the power that men have over us, specifically the power that white men have over black women. Definitely pick up this series if it sounds interesting to you. Another series I enjoyed was Art of Hood Love by Antoinette, Sherell. And this is, number 1 is Art of Hood Love Savvy. Number 2 is Art of Hood Love Shabu. And number 3 is the finale. So this series was exactly what I was needing at the time. I felt like when I was reading this series, I couldn't really read anything else. Like, I literally had to go from book 1 all the way to book 3. Return book 1, now put book 2 on my Kindle Unlimited. So by the way, it is on Kindle Unlimited if that's how you want to experience it, because that's what I was doing. I just kept switching it out so that I could just get through the entire series, because I just needed to know what was going to happen. Like, I didn't want no pause in between, and I'm so glad that I waited for this entire series to be out. This is exactly why I don't like reading a book if I know for sure it's going to leave on a cliffhanger. I cannot wait, because if it's good, I want to read book 2 now. I don't want to be dipping into the author's DMs asking questions and stuff. Like, I just want to read it. I just want to read it, and I don't want that feeling of, now I don't even remember what happened with this character. I hate that. I needed to, I think that is best for this series, because this series has a lot of characters. It has a lot of characters. We have main characters, which is Savvy and Shabu and Michi and Titan. These 4 are like kind of like the core main characters. But then Shabu's family is so large that you have extra people lingering in the background that have their own storylines, basically, and their own significant other, and their own like it's a lot to try to remember. So I was just glad that I was able to just kind of read all 3 of them at the same time. Well, not at the same time, consecutively, and I didn't miss anything. So we meet Savvy. Savvy has had a hard life. Her mom pretty much unalived herself when Savvy was young after murdering their uncle. Right. Savvy had to go and move in with her aunt and her aunt's husband and her cousin Michi. And then we have some sexual abuse happening there. So trigger warnings for that, because it is on the page. And Savvy feels the need to protect Michi, but Michi really feels the need to protect Savvy because Savvy is younger than her. So they are like this as cousins, basically. And one day, Savvy decides that she wants to go to this party with Michi. Michi is also a stripper, by the way. And she goes with her to this party, and at this party is where she meets Shabu, and Shabu is immediately kind of smitten by her because she looks different, and he likes the fact that she looks different, that she's not all like super done up, she ain't got her, lashes and weave, and she don't got all of that stuff going on, and she still looks very good to him. And everybody is surprised at how Shabu is acting with Savvy so early on. Like, literally, this is the first time they're meeting each other, and he's getting kind of, they looking kind of familiar, you know what I mean? And people are like, because he don't usually be acting like that with women. He has like a chick that, he previously had a baby with, and he kind of like, he still has a place in his heart for this woman. So people kind of connect him with that woman. They are shocked to see that he is, kind of entertaining something else. And for me, I like the evolution of Shabu in this series. I feel like at first he was very closed off, and I think that Savvy kind of helped break down a lot of the walls that he had up. He was always the fixer between him and his two brothers. He was always the fixer. That was his role. You know, somebody needed to be handled, he would go and he would be the one to handle them on behalf of his brothers. You know, whatever work needed to be done, he would handle it. And that took a lot, you know, that kind of chipped away at him. You know, he wasn't what I would call a heartless killer like I typically would read about where they like it. And, you know, he was literally sipping lean to forget the things that he had just finished doing, you know, and Savvy hated that he sipped lean, and Savvy wanted him to find other ways of coping with the things that he, you know, that he had to do for his family, and also showing him that, you know, you don't have to do this. Just because your brother told you that he wants you to go put in work, you don't have to be the one to do this, you know. And I love the love that she showed Shabu. You know, it was really nice to see, you know, him receive love and start to feel like, oh, like this is what it feels like. Okay. Everybody had their own story, and I actually would be interested in seeing some little breakout companion novels for some of the characters that were kind of in the background on this. Yeah, like I said, this was definitely a story about hood love, because it was so many secrets being unveiled, and it was the messiness that I needed. I absolutely needed this messiness. So if you like mess the way I like mess, you know what to do. Another series that I really enjoyed, and I would consider this to be a bit similar to The Art of Hood Love, but I actually read this series first. This series is just a little bit more... This series had me in like a dark hole. Like, I could not focus on anything else. I could not read anything else. I didn't want to talk about anything else. Nothing else mattered to me while I was reading this series, okay? And the first book is Front Street Porter by Nina, then On Us 1, On Us 2, and On Us 3 by Nina. She knows how to pen a story, okay? She knows how to pen a story to the point where you are walking in the street and you're trying to read. Like, you don't want to be away from these books at all. When I tell you, I literally had to, like, I wanted all of these books on my phone, downloaded and ready to go. Like, I didn't want to even have to search back on Amazon for part 2 and part 3. Like, I wanted it already here on my phone, downloaded, ready to go, because I just needed to just continue on, please, okay? Because this book is a lot. This series is a lot. There is a family of brothers, and they are all extremely toxic. This is not a romance series. Don't let anyone tell you that this is a romance series. It is not. If I knew someone that was dating one of these brothers, I would tell them, girl, run. Just run. Don't look back. Block the number, okay? Keep it moving. They do have their sweet spots, you know, their sweet moments. They love hard. They care about the women that they are dealing with. But I just find that when a man has a hard time showing love, like, it's going to be very hard for you. It's going to be very hard for you. He's going to keep hurting you because he doesn't know how to just show love, how to just give love. And there is a point in part 3 that I really love, and I won't spoil it, but it was what everybody involved in this book needed. The women too. Everyone needed this. Okay? And I feel like it was helpful for everyone. There's so many secrets in this series. I mean, secrets on secrets on secrets. One thing that I loved about this book is how the siblings in this book were so loyal to one another. Even though you could tell like certain brothers mess with certain brothers more than other brothers, right? That's how it is. You always gonna have a sibling that you mess with more than the other sibling. It's just life, right? But when they all come together, they would all pull together if they needed to help each other out. And I loved watching that on the page. Sisters in this book that we also follow, and they are extremely close because they literally had nothing, you know. At one point, they were sleeping in a motel room. All they had was each other. So they continue to have each other's back, you know, throughout this series. No matter what. Just go into the book. Don't read no synopsis. That's why I ain't giving y'all one. Don't read no synopsis or nothing. Just open Front Street Porter. Then when you finish that, send me a comment and say, thank you, Kiona. Thank you. And then I'm going to say, you're welcome. I'm going to know what you're talking about. I'm already know what book you're talking about. And then just quietly go on over to On Us, Part 1, and then read it. You won't be disappointed. I'm telling you, the mess is wild. The mess on mess, okay? Every time I thought that things were calm in this series, that people was just chilling. Okay, they doing good over there. They doing good over there. Boom. Here comes somebody with some drama. Every single time. Like, they never could rest. So because they couldn't rest, I couldn't rest as a reader. Because I'm like, again. Oh, this one again. He can't never do right. These men could not never do right. Not never. I'm telling you, they can't be trusted. They could not be trusted. None of these men. Another series that I really enjoyed was For the Love of a Dope Boy by Trinae. And I was a fan of Trinae's other series, Heir to the Empire. So when I saw that she had put together a bind up of all 3 parts of this series, I knew that I had to get it. And plus, I can appreciate that. I really wish more authors would do that. Like, can we just put all of the parts in one long book? I'll read 800 pages of urban fiction. I definitely will, you know. So at least, you know, I didn't have to stop. I didn't have to go and search and download and blah, blah, blah. Like, everything was already there. All I had to do was swipe. That's what I like. Nice and easy, you know? So I read this one a little while back in 2023. Maybe maybe in June I might have read this. So the details are a little spotty. But the gist of it, I know, is that I remember really enjoying the characters in this book. Like, the women in this book, they were not playing with these men. They were not playing with these men at all. Like, oh, why are you doing that? Bet. Okay? Like, I like that. I love female characters that are really just not afraid to make they dudes sweat a little bit. Because these dudes really be playing with you in these books. If you're not careful, if you just let it happen, then next thing you know, he's just going to be running amok. No. When these women was like, oh, okay, you doing that? That's when they start like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have did that. Oh, you think? You think? Oh, okay, cool. Now, this is another one where we have a very large friend group for the guys. And I'm starting to think that I just really like really large guy friend groups or really large families with like brothers and cousins and stuff. And I like seeing the banter between the boys when it's written very well. I love seeing that. I like it when the guys kind of have their own little POV where they got like their own little drama going on, because it feels like you're reading like a two other books inside the book that you're already reading, if that makes sense. Like this, it just always makes you feel like there's something going on at all times. Even if nothing is going on with the main character that you're reading, there's something going on with their cousin. And we're going to get to the bottom of that. So that is the end of this video. If you made it to the end of this video, make sure you subscribe and give me a like. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.